Imagine a place where the fundamental rules of reality just completely break down. A universe home to phenomena so extreme they frankly feel made up, but today we're looking at realities that are undeniably real. Welcome to This Explainer. Get ready, because we're counting down the most unbelievable, mind-bending facts ever discovered about our cosmos. Let's jump right in.
Picture a destination where the literal ticking of a clock just slows down. A place where spending a few days hanging out means an entire lifetime has passed for everyone back on Earth.
Or how about atmospheric weather so violently pressurized that instead of water droplets, you've got pure, glittering diamonds literally raining from the sky?
Or an object so incredibly dense that just a single teaspoon of it would weigh more than Mount Everest. Seriously, these aren't science fiction plot points, guys. This is the actual universe we live in.
Section 1. Wonders of our neighborhood.
When you break down the mass of our solar system, it is absolutely staggering. You've got this massive 99.8% chunk, and that is just our sun. Every single planet, moon, asteroid, and comet, yeah, all of that is crammed into a minuscule 0.2% sliver. It's crazy to think about, but without the overwhelming gravity of that 99.8%, our entire solar system would just instantly fly apart right into the void.
Let's move over to our planetary neighbor Venus for a totally paradoxical reality. Venus rotates incredibly slowly. It actually takes 243 Earth days just to complete one single rotation on its axis. But it only takes 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun. So, if you do the math, a single day on Venus lasts longer than its entire year. How wild is that?
And speaking of sheer scale, let's talk planetary geology. We all know Mount Everest is massive, right? It's 8.8 kilometers high. But the tallest volcano ever discovered is actually on Mars. It's called Olympus Mons, and it stands an astonishing 22 kilometers high. That is nearly 3 times taller than Everest, and its base is so massive it would literally cover an entire country here on Earth.
Section 2. Extreme cosmic phenomena. Imagine standing beneath the sky where diamonds literally rain from the clouds. It sounds crazy, but scientists believe that on massive gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, raging storms generate enormous crushing pressure. Pressure so intense, it actually transforms atmospheric carbon into solid diamonds, which then plummet through the thick alien atmosphere. Talk about extreme weather, right? 1 billion tons. Take a second to let that sink in. When a massive star explodes, its core can collapse into what's called a neutron star. The density here is just beyond human comprehension. If you were to somehow gather a single teaspoon of this material, it would weigh 1 billion tons down here on Earth. That is an entire mountain's worth of mass packed into a sphere roughly the size of a city. Now, to understand our next extreme phenomenon, we have to look at Einstein's theory of relativity. The core physical principle here is that gravity directly affects the passage of time. They are intimately woven together. So the heavier the gravity, the more it literally bends time itself. And nowhere is this more terrifyingly apparent than near a black hole. Because their gravity is absolute, time slows to a crawl compared to open space. Think about it. If you somehow ventured close to a supermassive black hole and returned safely, you'd be waking up to a shocking reality. Far more time would have passed for everyone back on Earth than for you. You would effectively be a time traveler, stepping right into the future.
Section 3. The infinite cosmic scale.
You know how Hollywood movies love those massive space battles with roaring engines and booming explosions? Well, space is actually almost a perfect vacuum. It's a region entirely devoid of matter and air. And without air or matter for sound waves to vibrate through, they simply cannot travel. So in reality, the universe is perfectly, terrifyingly silent.
But, just because space is empty doesn't mean it lacks familiar elements. Astronomers actually discovered an enormous cloud of water vapor surrounding a distant quasar. Get this single cloud contains trillions of times more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Even in the freezing emptiness of deep space, the very stuff of life exists on a completely unimaginable scale.
I want you to really think about this next number: 200 sectillion. Scientists estimate there are 200 sectillion stars in the observable universe. To put that into perspective, that is far more stars in the cosmos than there are grains of sand on every single beach on Earth combined. And every tiny point of light out there is a sun, with its own planets, its own oceans, and who knows, maybe its own life.
Section 4. Our growing universe.
Nearly 100 years ago, astronomers realize that galaxies are moving away from one another. But the truly mind-blowing reality? This expansion isn't steady. It's actively accelerating. The cosmos is growing larger every single second, carrying galaxies farther and farther apart across unimaginable distances. The universe is literally racing away from itself faster today than it did yesterday.
Space just constantly continues to defy our expectations and completely challenge the limits of our imagination. We've gone from diamond rain to mountains packed into literal teaspoons to a silent, infinitely accelerating cosmos. So, I've got to ask you, which of these facts amazed you the most? Take a moment, think about it.